Yeah, so hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. We're here.
I was just saying that when Dad's dad came here, he came here like 50-something years ago, and there was nothing here. It was a hilltop, and he was given this by his father-in-law. And Dad's mum came up here. She was, I think, 16, and they lived in a tiny, tiny house until he built that house there.
Yep.
And that house there has been extended a little, as you can see by Beth when she got there. And what happened was he levelled all of this by hand and by caravel.
Yep.
Single-handed. And Beth's mum had her first child at 17, and then they started their life here. 5 years ago now, well, 4 years ago when we came, we brought, just before that they'd had electricity, so we went right down the hill, which is right at the bottom of the hill there. We used to go for water. That was where we got drinking water. And right down the bottom of the other side was where we went to bathe every day.
Yep.
Right, so we installed a pump down up there. We dug a new well and installed a pump and brought water up. That was when she had running water in the kitchen for the first time 48 years.
Now there's a question that's I've never seen answered, right? Digging a well. Hand dug?
Yeah.
So what?
What they do is
Bucket? Shovel?
Yeah. They have, when we dug a well for Pastor Gilbert's, that's Beth's sister, was the wife of Pastor Gilbert up in Dubai, and the way that they did it was they put a little sort of gantry over the top and a rope, and then they had the two guys that put, when the bucket was down there, and then they ran away with it like that until it came up, and they emptied it all there, and they dug a well. And what the way that they do it here is that they dig it down until it's no longer, so it's on the cusp of not being safe.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, because of the type of soil and clay here, very clay dominant soil, and they dig it down, and they can do a perfect side to it, unless they come into cavities. Yeah. Sometimes when they come into cavities, like they've done on Brian's property, it collapses, and they have to do something about that. But what they do is they get it down to maybe 10 feet, something like that, and then they put hollow block down, and then they continue, once that's secured, they continue again, and then they hollow block up to the other hollow block. And they end up with the hollow block all the way down the bottom. But I've been down one of those wells, the one at the church, and
it's a fair way down and scary.
Scary. I went down, and I went down on a rickety old bamboo ladder, so that I could take the camera down and show. The video is there that we did of that. But some of the other ones that they've dug, I don't know how deep they went on that one there, but some of the other ones that they've dug are like more than 30 feet, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're 40 feet down. I mean, the air is getting bad down there. You know?
Because the concept to most people who have actually lived in any countryside in the western side thinks, oh yeah, digging a well, we get a truck in with got the big drill and everything, and you know that it's going to be hand done. You know, and an example of that was where I learnt that kind of thing, is that when we had the iron factory in China, and we were looking at rust proofing the doors. We were making big iron doors. I have a photograph in there of the stuff that we used to make. We used to make giant doors for high-end houses in California, right across the United States actually, but mainly California, and restaurants and stuff like that, and you know the giant big doors on going into a hotel or whatever. We made all that sort of stuff, and we needed to rust proof them. and so we could have a bath with the rust-proofing solution in there, which we bought in from Australia. I already knew about that sort of stuff. And I happened to say to my partner there, I just said, well, I see us putting in like a conveyor system where we can actually hook the doors onto it and immerse it in there, right? And he just looked at me and he said, well, I see 40 Chinese.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. Because we had 100 Chinese there, and, it's like, and that's how we unloaded the trucks, and we ran that factory for 10 years and we never had a forklift. And I mean, we were loading doors that wouldn't fit into 40-foot containers.
And a lot of Chinese people
very, very strong.
were able to eat because you did that.
Yeah, and that was where I started off with this whole thing about what you're doing, where we were looking at this whole reuniting families. And it's a wonderful movie that was made by a Canadian Chinese woman. Brilliant movie, and it's called The Last Train Home. It was made in about 2009, 2011, somewhere like that.
The Last Train Home.
The Last Train Home, yeah. And it's all about the itinerant Chinese going home for Chinese New Year. But it concentrates on one family. And it just shows you how the fact that you've got mothers and fathers going to the city looking for work, and the children are left behind being raised by either grandparents who are now getting on, or aunties and uncles or whatever, and the whole dysfunctional side of it.
That's exactly what's happening here.
Exactly, and that's this is where the fix is, I see. Right. That if you can fix that at its point, it's not going to happen now.
No, it
but
won't.
But in a couple of generations, it helps solve that problem all the way through. It'll permeate right through that population.
We've got a system now where we could go, if somebody will come to us and they've seen, say, the blind man. There's a lady called Tita, and Tita is not it's not that well herself. She's had some real challenges, but she watches the videos and feels involved in it. So she chose to adopt the blind man as her grandfather.
Okay. Yeah.
And so now every month she'll send us, say, 1,500 pesos. It's not a huge amount of money in dollars, but that 1,500 pesos, the way that Beth sees it, she says we won't go to Alturas, which is a big supermarket, where we could easily just push a trolley around and put everything on, and it would be so easy. What we do is we go to the sari store.
Exactly.
We go to the sari store, and it works very, very well, because it relieves us as well. And we say, for one, groceries for one, 1,500 pesos. That's what we've got. And then we drive away. Yeah. And when we come back, he brings out a box and a bag of rice, and he has a list of everything that he's put on there. And if he gets to 1,465 and he can't think of, well, another pack of noodles will do it, or a couple of little candies, and he makes it up to 1,500 exactly, with the list there. And then he gives us that whole thing, and we take it round and deliver it to the blind man.
Exactly.
And
the money's going round and round.
Right, and it all stays in this community.
Exactly.
That's why, and a lot of people considered, accused us. That's one of the things that we were accused of doing by this man, Peter Smith.
For sure, we may not change.
Right, right, and he accused us of overpaying our relatives to do work. Right. I've heard expats brag about how they got a guy to work for 200 and 300 pesos, and they brag about that.
Yeah.
What we do is, we went to Pastor Timio and what we call the Superman team. We call them that because they work so hard. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable what they can do in 3 days, build a house. It's a tiny house, but 3 days, come on.
Yeah.
And because they're all part of a religious community, we said, well, look, we consider that this is not for profit, this is for help, and we want you to work very hard, but we're going to pay greater than you would earn anywhere else.
Yes, we also want you to live.
Right. And that's what we do.
Yeah.
And Beth, believe me, Beth looks very sweet over there right now, but she is a tyrant when it comes to the workers. She'll
I
come
find
and say,
that hard
look,
to believe.
it's got to be finished on Thursday,
Yeah.
and this might be Wednesday morning. And they do it. And they do it, and they do it with a laugh. I know that the Superman team have been working elsewhere, and if you look, each one, when they were working elsewhere, had a big black cloud over him because of how he was being treated. Here, they were working here, and all you could hear above the roosters was the guys laughing.
Yeah.
Because they're joking and they're happy. And I don't come along and hold a tape measure and say, this is 5.5 inches and I said 6! And everybody is happy. And I don't tell them, Beth said, they said that it needs to be 4 inches and 5. And they're going to argue and say, no. 3 inches, 3 inches. So, and that's how we see it. It's working.
Yeah.